Hey, what's up guys? Commander Alex here, and today we're going to be taking a look at Lyra. We're going to be looking at her abilities, some build paths for her, and then just giving some of my thoughts on her in general as like a new hero for Vainglory. Alright, so first off, we got her passive. Let's take a look. Boom. You guys can read it if you want, but basically it's A, you're going to get CP scaling on your auto attacks, which is pretty cool. I mean, it's pretty standard for mages now, but it's cool to have. And then B, you have this really cool interaction with your auto attack. So if you auto attack, your second auto attack is always going to go off no matter what, as long as you don't give a move command. So I'll kind of show you what I mean right here. You see, I auto attack, second auto attack goes off. Auto attack move, and the second auto attack doesn't go off. All right, makes sense? But the cool thing about the second auto attack is it has some extra speed on it. It has extra damage on it. It has a slow on it, and it will always land. That means that even if as you're channeling your auto attack they walk out of range, it's always going to go through. They could port back to base and it will go the entire freaking distance and hit them. Your second auto attack, no matter how far away they are, will always trigger, no matter what. Even if they're out of range by the time you even start channeling that second auto attack, it's going to trigger, all right? So that's something that you should know. Okay, so that's her passive. Really, really good for poke and lane, and I guess it's kind of cool for like harass and jungle, but it's not really all that great as a support Lyra. Next, we have Sigil. You drop your Sigil right there, bada bing, bada boom. It heals you, it heals your allies. If an enemy is within that shield, that area, they're gonna get damaged. And when you destroy it, it does a burst damage and burst heal. So if an enemy is within there and you destroy it, it's gonna do a big amount of damage to them. If an ally is in there or you are in there, they're going to get a burst amount of heal. Plus, it has this countdown timer. So you see right now, it's counting down really slowly. Let me take a hit right here. Okay, crack and go away. Now you see I walk in here and I heal up. Alright, so when you're healing from it, or when a enemy is, an enemy is taking damage from it, or if you burst heal or burst damage or something, whenever it does something, it's going to drain even quicker. So that means that this normal cooldown right here, it's really, really slow. So it can sit there for a long time. But the moment that it starts healing someone, it drains a lot quicker, and therefore when you're healing a whole team or you're dealing damage to an entire team or something like that, you're going to be running through that like clock really quick, okay? If that makes sense. Also, when you drop it, you can reactivate it to explode it, or if it gets to 0, then it'll automatically explode. And what's really cool about this ability is that, let me get over here, it gives vision. You see, I can see that minion because I dropped it there. So if you're just kind of playing as Lyra as a support and you're not sure that you want to face check a bush because you're Lyra and you're really squishy, you can actually instead just drop a Sigil and it'll give you vision of that little area, which is really cool. Alright, so her B ability is Bright Bulwark. This is how you spell it. I have no idea how to pronounce it. Bulwark? Bulwark. Bulwark. I don't know how to say it. It's Bright Bulwark, and basically it's a snare ability. So snares have not been in the game. This is a new mechanic, but basically it means that anyone inside this field or entering the field will not be able to use dash abilities, and any dash abilities going into the field will be canceled. So basically, if Fox Sonic zooms into this wall, let me drop it again here. If Vox Sonic zooms into it, he will Sonic zoom up until the wall, and then he will stop because you can no longer dash within this area. Plus, when you cross that wall, or if you're inside, you're going to be slowed. And if you cross it again as you're exiting, you're going to have that slow reapplied. So basically, crossing the walls is going to slow you and apply that snare to you. If you're inside, the snare is always applied to you, and it does some damage when you cross the walls or when it's dropped upon you. Plus, the really cool thing about this ability is that it resets enemies' cooldown on your ultimate. So first off, let's talk about the ultimate here. It's a nice little teleport ability, new thing in the game. But what's interesting is that both allies and enemies can use this ability, and it has a no cooldown when you just immediately cast it. Anyone can use it immediately once you cast it. But if you drop your Bright Bulwark, they won't be able to use it. Their cooldown will be automatically reset, giving them a 4-second cooldown on your ultimate, meaning that your allies will be able to pour it out, and the enemy won't be able to follow for another 4 seconds. So really, really good, and it's pretty much a necessary thing to do. If you're disengaging as Lyra, you're going to want to drop that and then pour it out. If you're engaging as Lyra, you're going to want to port in and then immediately drop the Bulwark so that they can't just port out the way that you came in, if that makes sense. Alright, so speaking of ports, we have her A ability, or her C ability, which is Arcane Passage. So basically, Arcane Passage is a teleport ability, but it's a group teleport ability. So you teleport like this, any enemy or ally can use that, which is interesting in and of itself, but when you use it, it's put on cooldown for 4 seconds. Plus, Bright Bulwark, as I said, puts it on cooldown for 4 seconds, and yeah, that's about it. It's not actually that complicated. Like, it's pretty good, but it's not that complicated. As far as using this ability, you're going to want to use it either for hard engages, or you're going to want to use it for just general map movement. I find that general map movement is probably easier and much more safe in solo queue, but if you have a coordinated team, hard engaging with this can be absolutely devastating. Like, say you have an alpha who ults and gets super low on her barrier, and then you port her in to the entire enemy team, you're going to explode and absolutely destroy the enemy team. So it's really, really cool in that sense. Obviously, if you don't have quite the amount of synergy that some teams do, you're gonna screw yourself over. Like, if you port in and then your allies don't come for a couple seconds, you're just gonna be Lyra in the middle of an enemy team and you're gonna die like instantly. So keep that in mind. If you're playing in solo queue, it might be safer just to use it for map movements. Alright, so that's all for different abilities. Tell me what you guys think of her abilities, but next let's get into some builds for her. So right here I have a general Lyra support build. Again, this is just what I found has worked for me. Obviously, I don't know if it's the best build. It's probably not. I'm sure people will come up with better ones, but this is what I think is good. Also, I should note that when you actually first start, you're going to want to pick up an Iron Guard contract. The reason for that is that you're going to be tanking minions and you don't have a lot of health. So the heal from the Iron Guard contract is going to mean that you come out of the jungle not like super low on health. You're still going to be kind of low, but you'll have enough to be able to actually fight when you come out of the jungle. Once you get to the jungle shop in your first clear, you're going to get Protector contract. The reason for that is that you are a ranged support, and therefore Dragon Blood contract isn't great because Dragon Blood requires you to be near enemies to actually use it, and you don't want to be near enemies as Lyra, so therefore Protector contract. Alright, obviously you'll sell this later. As far as item build paths go, you're going to want to start with a fountain, then go into a crucible, then go into, well, obviously as you're building, build boots. You're probably going to pick up the Atlas Cauldron at some point, and then you're going to want to go for the Shiver Steel and the Alternating Current. So the reason that you're going to go in this order is basically the Alternating Current is only really good in the late game to supplement damage. It's really, really synergistic with her passive, because obviously with her passive you're guaranteed 2 auto attacks, therefore you're guaranteed at least one of them to proc the Alternating Current, which is awesome. Like, you're always going to proc that Alternating Current, and the Alternating Current is just very good on her, and I think it's worthwhile even not having other CP items. That being said, it's really not a support item, and so I wouldn't build it until one of your final items if you're building a support. As far as the other items, these 3 items right here, Fountain, Crucible, and Shiver Steel, are all there, A, because they are just really good support items, but B, because they give you a lot of health. And health is what her Sigil's healing actually scales off of. So you see right here, I take some damage. Boom. And when I walk into this thing right here, I'm going to get a pretty massive heal from that. And so that's why building health in her is so good, because even though you're still going to be pretty like squishy, I mean, you won't be that squishy in the late game, you're going to be healing for a ton with all that extra health, because the extra health that you have is how your healing scales, which is really cool. As far as boots go, you can go for a couple options, but War Treads I find work best, and the reason for that is that you're going to ult your entire team up in there, and then you want them to kind of swarm onto the enemy team. You want to be aggressing onto them, and therefore War Treads are really good for that hard engage sort of idea. If you're doing more map movement, War Treads can also be good, but yeah, I find that War Treads are just overall, just get them. They're good on supports. And then what else do I have here? I think that's all the different items for a support Lyra. Let's solve these, and let's pick up some items for lane Lyra. Now, lane CP Lyra is a thing. In fact, I think lane CP Lyra is going to be meta. Mark my words right now, lane CP Lyra is going to be meta. Alright, so we get Alternating Current right here. We're going to get Broken Myth, Frostburn, Eve of Harvest, Crucible, I can't freaking click. Okay, Crucible, and Journey Boots. As well as you'll probably pick up a Crystal Infusion, but you don't have to really worry about that. So why do you get these items? So first off, Alternating Current right off the bat, because it's super, super synergistic. The poke in lane that you can get from an Alternating Current is absolutely insane, because basically you auto attack, and then that second auto attack, even if they walk away from you, is always going to land. So there's really no way they can avoid it. And what's really cool about that is that since she has such a long range, you can't really engage onto her, because if you do, either you're going to be diving into the turret, Or if she's overextending, she can just port back into her turret, and then what do? Like, you can't gank or aggress onto her once she's level 6. It's absolutely impossible, which is what I love about her. Alright, so that's where you're going to go Alternating Current. As far as the other items, the Frostburn is because your Sigil deals CP damage to enemies, and it only deals CP damage when they're inside the Sigil's range. But once they get in, they're going to want to try and get out, and that means that the Frostburn is going to make it harder for them to get out of that Sigil's range, therefore the Sigil's going to have more time to deal more damage. It's just really good. It works. Alright, Eve of Harvest, because you're healing so much to begin with, the Eve of Harvest heal on top of that is just, it's actually insane healing. It's crazy how much healing you can get from this. Broken Myth is because you're a CP carry. Broken Myth is a standard item on CP carries. Get it, just do it, don't ask questions. Crucible, because as I said, the heal from your Sigil scales with extra health. Building a Crucible means that that heal is even more potent. And then finally here we have Journey Boots, because you like to stay on the edges of fights, and Journey Boots cooldown is brought down to 12 seconds when you're in fights, meaning that you will be able to use it multiple times to reposition during a fight, which is really good and really, really nice for kiting. Alright, so there you have it, guys. That is Lyra. That's my short little, I don't know, 5-minute clip on what Lyra is, how to play her, and what you should be doing when you get her on the 22nd, is it? Maybe 20th? I don't know when Lyra comes out. But hopefully you guys are hyped for her. If you guys have any thoughts on how she's going to do, if you have any builds that you'd like me to try out, definitely leave them in the comments down below. And remember, thumbs if you liked it, subs if you loved it, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. See ya.